The Alfie Whattam podcast.
Hey, this podcast is brought to you by WeLoveAlpha.com. If you're looking to grow and hire and scale your software engineering team in the UK, then go to WeLoveAlpha.com to hire the best software developers on the market. Everything across Java to C# to PHP to Python to React and Angular and mobile and more. Go to WeLoveAlpha.com to hire the best software engineers in the UK now. Hello and welcome back to episode 94 of the Alfie Whattam Technology Podcast. This is a show where we talk about what's happening in the world of tech with various tech leaders, founders, entrepreneurs, investors, engineering leaders, CTOs, and so on and so forth. Today in the podcast studio, we've got two guests. I'll go to you chaps both, get a little bit of an intro. Sacha, do you want to kick us off? Tell us who you are and what your story is, mate.
Sure, thank you. First of all, thanks for having me.
No problem.
My name is Sacha, originally from Argentina. I'm currently head of engineering at a small startup, growing still, called Growth Kitchen. Previously, I was leading one of the web teams at Just Eat, and before that, I had various roles in senior management and senior engineering, more like hands-on coding as well. So, yeah, been in the industry for like 15 years or so now.
Awesome, man. So you know your stuff. That's cool.
I wouldn't say that, but thank you.
I would. And well done, Argentina, obviously winning the cup. That's amazing.
Thank you. I didn't do anything,
No.
I will take the credit.
Well, you have to. It's like when people say, when we fought that war like 15 years ago, and they weren't even born. They weren't involved in
exactly.
Like, what does Growth Kitchen do? Tell us a little bit about.
So basically, it's like the concept of satellite kitchens or cloud kitchens.
Yeah,
well, we do that, but with a twist. So we try to do build kitchens that are more sustainable. So we work with good, well-known brands that have sustainable packaging. The places, the hubs where we have the kitchens are very nice to work at. So it's great for the riders, great for the people cooking there.
Yes.
And we then have other things on top of that, like technology, and that's where my role becomes important.
That's cool. That's a good thing to do, because in that industry, there are so many cases where it's like, it's crazy. You've got like one kitchen, you've got like 100 different, restaurants and that sort of thing. So it's good that you're trying to bring ethics and morality to it, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's pretty much what we do. Try to make it right? Cool. And at the same time, we try not to have like too many competing cuisines in one hub, right? We don't have like 7 burger places in one of our hubs, let's say.
Absolutely. Okay, cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on. We also have Mattia in the studio today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, mate?
Yeah, first of all, again, thanks, Alfie, for having us here today. Mattia, originally from Italy, moved here 8 years ago. I am head of software engineering for front-end in Zopa, fintech here in UK. I was previously a principal iOS engineer for HSBC, where I was spending for years. My background is mostly mobile, although I consider myself a career switcher because I didn't study computer science back then. So I've been pretty much in the industry for quite some time now. As I said, mostly mobile background, now most focusing on more front end.
That's cool. And a little bit about Zopa. You mentioned it's a fintech, but what exactly does the business do?
Sure. We're one of the UK fintechs here in London. We mostly focus on lending, credit cards, car financing, saving product, but where Zopa, I think, excel is how we try to treat our customer differently from what a challenger bank do or what a neobank do. We're trying to find our segment in the market where people go to Zopa to better manage their own money.
That's cool.
So that's where I could basically what's been the business of Zopa, even though it's been transformed throughout the years because it started as a peer-to-peer lender and then evolved into more kind of a traditional bank.
That's cool. And once again, another industry which needs disruption. Finance, fintech. All the old big boys, the old dinosaurs. It's great to see so many new. It's not new, but a lot of companies coming in there and just disrupting that market really.
It's been fascinating for me because been moving from HSBC, which is the traditional, but big bank to Zopa was an interesting transition. You can see like the good and the bad aspect on both worlds.
Yes.
Trying to infuse some lesson learned there into the new companies. That was good.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and thank you for people for listening as well. If you're not already, please remember to subscribe, follow, etc., 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 for all the latest tech news and industry expertise, really. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with you chaps today is a big piece of news in the world of I suppose e-commerce, I suppose robotics in a sense as well. This actually closely aligns to what you do in some respects. That's quite interesting, Sacha. But McDonald's have just opened their first largely automated location. So you know about the touch screens, obviously. You go in, you touch what you want on the big iPad, and that's been there for ages, right? For 5 years or something, even more than that. Now they're trying to automate the food preparation and the food delivery. So they've got conveyor belts, giving it on a self-service. I think there are still a couple of people at this location just to make sure that the robots are doing what they're meant to do and that sort of thing. But it's in Texas, it's in Fort Worth, and it's drawn a lot of criticism from activists, as you can imagine, that are, saying, that you're getting rid of our jobs. And I know there's obviously this kind of thing where your first job is working at McDonald's. I don't know if you guys have ever worked at McDonald's or any restaurants, but it's just opened up. There's one location so far, so it's just a pilot. But customers can drive up, they can be served their Big Mac, their Happy Meal, whatever your McFlurry, whatever your go-to is, and get it delivered by machines rather than people. So I've got a quick video clip. We'll play this on the screen as well, just to show you what it looks like in the restaurant. That's just a news story. So for those listening on audio, now is a good time to turn on the video as well to see the clip. This has gone viral on Twitter, on TikTok, etc., etc. And here's a little bit about what it looks like. So it's a fully automated McDonald's in Texas, where you've got the iPad screens as you usually do on the tablets. You can go in and click what you want. However, when the food is being prepared, they're using a lot of automation to create it. And then in the delivery stage, when you pull up in your car, there's no smiling person to give you the food. It rolls out on a conveyor belt, essentially. So interesting, right? I don't know what my opinion is on this, because it's such an interesting topic. But let's just go to you both. Mattia, what do you think of McDonald's trying to automate everything?
I mean, I think it's going to be like a progressive step, like something towards. We know we're going to go towards full automation, right?
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm necessarily personally not too pessimistic about it, because I think I'm an optimist. I wish we're going to go transition towards a world where we can automate jobs like that are not great to do in general. Now,
Sure.
like, not just McDonald's, but also a lot of sectors and fields where they will benefit from automation, so people can do more meaningful things.
Yes.
And basically we need to think about building a system where we can support and protect people, and make them like study and educate them to do better jobs and to spend better their own time,
Sure.
instead of thinking the way old mentality of like a factory worker that then does the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I think that should be a push for like our, not just politicians, but all of us as a community, to actually build a more sustainable work for everybody in a way.
It's your perspective is this is going to happen. It's innovation. It's always catching up. So the people need to understand that, recognize that, and start to position themselves to be able to, I suppose, thrive in the new world.
I think so, and it will take some time for adoption. So I think we have time to adapt to that and think about that. We can't simply ignore it. Yeah.
It kind of takes away a little bit of like the human-y part, where like you get somebody smiling, giving you your would you like fries with that? But I suppose if it's cheaper for a company to do it, that's what.
I mean, we're going to find different ways, right? And I think even the way we eat at the moment, with all the delivery service, things are changing. Like the models are changing. We're going to find different way to engage. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly. What's your perspective on this? Being on I suppose the inside of that sector to some degree.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Mattia was saying here. I think this is new, but it's not new.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been seeing this kind of thing for the last 40, 50 years, since forever, basically, right? And technology evolves. Jobs get replaced by other jobs or by machines or whatever. And that, in a way, it's fine as long as it's backed up with education, possibilities for everyone. So the person who was previously perhaps working at the McDonald's, now in theory, and again, I'm not saying this is what happens in reality, but in theory, it would be amazing if this person could be trained to then be a developer or something similar, to be building these robots, right?
Sure. Fixing them, maintaining
Yeah,
them.
exactly. I mean, it removes certain jobs,
Yeah.
but it creates opportunities as well to do newer jobs.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying, I think it's interesting about the social aspect or interacting with people.
Yeah.
I think this happens with every technological advancement we've been seeing for the last couple of decades, which is it's supposed to bring you closer together with other people, but in reality, it causes the opposite effect, right?
Yeah.
Like now we're fully connected with all social media and all this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're not that connected.
No, it's not the same, is it? As actually
Yeah.
having a conversation.
And at the same time, if we think about it in a different perspective, you were saying, you don't have a, smiling face there to welcome you. But at the same time, we could say the opposite and be like, well, perhaps people working there don't need to deal with rude customers anymore.
Yeah.
It depends on the angle you take at this.
Yeah. It's interesting you both mentioned jobs, and that obviously is like what comes to mind when you mention this, right? Because what if this works? Let's say that the bosses at McDonald's are I just read the book actually about the creation of McDonald's. It's called Grinding It Out by Ray Kroc. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the movie at all.
Yeah, the movie, yes.
Founder.
Yeah.
It's great.
I haven't yet. I know I have to say it.
Great,
Yeah,
it's a great
yeah.
movie. But I read the book. Amazing story, similar-ish to the movie. I mean, there's always a few changes, right? But he seems like, and he's not involved in the business. I think he's dead now, the guy who built it. But it seemed like the ethos was built on the fact that, look, we'll do whatever we can do to make as much money as possible, as you would as a business, right? I mean, that's the obligation that you've got to shareholders. That's like the whole point of a company when it comes to making money. So let's say this works, and let's say they do this test pilot. It goes amazing. They can save X amount of cash, and they go, right, brilliant. Let's roll it globally. Let's roll it out. Let's do every McDonald's. Let's just robot the whole thing. Subway catches on. You got Burger King. You got Wendy's, KFC. They're all jumping in. Let's say in 5 years, 99% of restaurants are automated, and it's got one or two people just checking in and making sure it's all going well. We're talking millions and millions and millions of jobs globally being replaced, right, by software and AI. I know you mentioned there about it's important to upskill. It's important to always be preparing for the next opportunity and not for the one that you're in. There is a bit of almost like a meme around this, like asking truck drivers to learn how to code. Like most of them are just not interested, and they don't need to be. Maybe they could do something else. But what is your perspective? Because this is probably going to happen, right? So how do you think that's going to impact the world and that sort of thing? Start with yourself, Sacha. What's your perspective?
Yeah, as I said, I think this is eventually going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, technology evolves quickly, and I think we're at the moment now in time that technology evolves exponentially. Okay, so if you compare where we were 5 years ago, we're at a complete different place. And in 10 years from now, it will be, I don't think we can imagine we'll be in 10 years, right? And I think it's so important, again, that it's not, the onus is not so much on the individuals, in my opinion. It's more on governments, policymakers, to make sure that there are opportunities to, those who are going to be losing these jobs, be upskilled to do something else. And it's not necessarily coding, right? When you are talking about rolling this out to every McDonald's restaurant and every Burger King and every other brand everywhere in the world, that involves a lot of operations, fixing things, construction, building. There's so many things, and someone will have to do those things. So there will be plenty of opportunities, or there should be. Again, perhaps I'm trying to be optimistic, and in reality, the world doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. But I want to believe that, we can be in a better world.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. I'm like a mad optimist when it comes to that sort of thing. Like, as long as there's people with vision trying to build something, there'll always be, the need and opportunity there for people to help join them and work on that in whatever capacity. What's your perspective, Mattia, on this?
I think if you think about the 5-10 year lifespan, we can't decouple it from also the environmental sustainability of ideas like that. Yeah. And I guess any policymaker needs to think about policies where this can work in real life. Realistically, we know we can train, upskill people, but there's going to be a segment of the population will not be up for it, or they will have to do something different. And I guess policies around universal income or changing the way we work, and not necessarily going towards of a goal where we need to increase our GDP as the only KPI to define our goal. Like that's really the real shift. And I guess automation, if we leverage correctly, can be the real like power and force that can actually make our transition to a more sustainable world. That would be my ambitious goal.
The UBI is an interesting point. I don't know if you chaps have done any research into Andrew Yang. I don't know if you know who Andrew Yang is. He was an American politician. I think he was independent. It was during the last election, or maybe the one before that, in the States. And his whole thesis was that the majority of jobs are going to be replaced in the next 30 years by robotics, like anything from self-driving cars, replacing Uber and truck drivers to this for restaurants to I'm sure you guys have played with Chat GPT, but
who hasn't?
The weird acronym. That's that could replace copywriters and bloggers and social media marketing. I'm using it to write job ads for my recruitment agency. It's great. So his thesis was, with all of this happening, there's going to be some kind of need for universal basic income, and I think his recommendation was $1,000 a month each person gets to help subsidize just living and that sort of thing. It's like a really interesting argument, because on one hand you're like, great, $1,000 a month, that's amazing. I can have time to go and explore my passions and create projects. And then you got the other side, which is the reality of it. A lot of the time people get that money and then they just play FIFA all day and do whatever with it and waste it. So I guess it really depends on the person, right? But where do you see this going if you had to place a bet on it, both of you? Do you think we'll be in a good position in 10, 20 years where these people, there's other opportunities, they found something, they're all good? Or do you think we'll be in a little bit of a dystopian situation with robots doing everything, but it's like Wall-E, where everyone's overweight and like on the chairs and the robots are doing everything for us?
Okay, so I
Go for
be more scared about the way humans will behave rather than robots in a way. I think my personal fear is that we still lack of a big long-term vision of what are the real problems to solve and what we need to solve first. And I fear we don't have the maturity still at the moment to think that, okay, let's say we need to focus on environment, we need to focus on equality, income inequalities across the world. That would be my fear. And robotics can come and help, but I'm not sure if we have the right people to actually think about that.
Yeah. Okay. What's your take?
My optimism in my previous answer actually changes when we start talking about AI.
Oh man, AI is scary.
Yeah, and all these things. I think, again, the potential of AI and technology in general is unlimited virtually, and it could solve so many world problems and make lives better for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, is that what's going to happen? You said we should place a bet. I don't think so. In that case, I'm not that optimistic with humanity. I think, I'm genuinely concerned, not even 10 years from now, I'm genuinely concerned about it now. As in, we are already starting seeing the ramifications of not having AI being controlled and regulated. People already, again, and this is the difference between what we are talking about now and in the previous topic, is that with robots and stuff, we were talking about certain jobs being replaced by some other job in a way. In this case, with AI, my concern is that we are going to be replacing things or jobs or activities with nothing, with an AI basically. So why do we need in the future musicians if an AI bot will be able to create your perfect song, tailored for you, not one else, and it's perfect for you? And why do we need artists? And why do we need lawyers? Because an AI will be a better lawyer. Why do we need engineers? Why do we need everything? Not today, in a few years. So that worries me a lot.
AI is just it's crazy. Elon Musk said it scares him more than nuclear weapons, and I probably would agree. I mean, I'm sure you played with DALL-E for pictures, right? I was pitched recently a chance to invest in a startup which does text to video. It's not great yet, but DALL-E wasn't when it started. GPT wasn't when it started. Just imagine typing in, I want to see, I don't know, Trump fighting Obama in MMA or something, and then boom, it pops up and you got a video of that thing. What's going to happen socially if you can get Biden or whoever to do a fake announcement.
Which is already happening, right? All the deep fakes.
Exactly, the deep fakes. I mean, they're insane. But what happens when the deep fake becomes indistinguishable from? And then his Twitter gets hacked, and then that gets posted on Twitter saying he's gonna nuke, Russia or something. It's gonna be. It could be the end of the world. AI. It could.
I mean, yes, it's also true that like I would say like when force emerges, usually naturally you develop like a counter force. Like there's a lot of technology now in evolution in like counterfeiting AI to see like watermarking AI to see if we can distinguish what has been AI generated was not. And they'll still train models in a way. So I want to believe there's going to still an element of originality from what the content is being created in a way there. Not necessarily like if we know we've been trying this, right? Especially with coding, we can see like there's still need of a human element. I still believe the AI that we see today, at least ChatGPT, is something that can help the people that know already what they're doing. I think we're still a bit far away in terms of completely replacing some job, but it definitely poses some ethical questions around where do you draw a line, especially when it comes to learning and education. This is completely a game changer. We need to completely rethink the way we teach and assess people. Yeah. And we had to do it regardless of AI, but now it's like we have to do it sooner rather than later.
Well, if you have like a neural link, you won't even need traditional education. You'll just like matrix download it into your brain if they figure that one out. I know they're testing it on. Have you seen the video of is it the chimp playing ping pong with its mind?
With a screen, is it?
Yeah, there's a chimp, and when it thinks the pong.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Pong, the old video game. Yeah, it's it's crazy what the Neuralink people are able to do, and we're downloading learning, if you know what I mean. So yeah, AI changes everything, man. I mean, it's the scary thing for me is what happens when the AI starts creating AI. And then that AI starts creating AI because Sam at OpenAI and I think Greg and the team over there have been able to do is in 1 year they've released ChatGPT and DALL-E, and to me they were like the biggest tech innovation since maybe like the iPhone. It's like the first time something's come along and I've been like, whoa, what is this? And I'm talking to GPT and I'm asking it to tell me things. I ask it to write me a list of ideas for my dog's birthday involving no balloons in a pirate's voice, and it's just like boom, it instantly gives it to me. It's and just wait until you have that voice output in like a robot sort of thing, and you can speak to it and it will speak to you. It text, voice to text input, text to voice output from the GPT in a realistic looking thing. That's going to be wild, right? And not too far away.
No, I don't think it's too far away. I think what's crazy about all this is, again, the speed at which this develops, right? Yeah. I mean, 20 years ago or so, or 30 or whatever, you had, let's call it AI. It wasn't AI, but machines that could do only one task really well, right? Like assemble something, play chess, do something in particular, and it was amazing. Or not so amazing, but then it became amazing. Then you had, and we still have, like, machines that do like a more complex task really well, like self-driving cars and stuff like that, right? Yes. But now we're getting into an area in which you have a machine or an AI that can do virtually everything and pretty well. I mean, this perhaps not very well now, but give it a couple of years and we will be blown away, I think.
Yeah. I think there's probably going to be a couple of companies created this year which in a couple of years are just as big as Meta and Twitter and YouTube that don't even exist yet. They'll be created in the next year or two in AI. I don't even think we've seen the AI killer app yet. I think DALL-E and GPT are just a start. I think when there is something, an app on your phone, which is the killer app, which it's your assistant, it can do anything for you. It could replace Google, because why would you search for something and then have it to look through and click on different ones when you can just ask the question and it will give you the answer? That's what you really want from Google at the end of the day. So I think Microsoft have just announced I don't know if it's been formalized yet, but they're in talks to buy, I think it's 49% of OpenAI for, it was like 12 billion or something ridiculous, which, I mean, it's probably worth that.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, 12 billion is not that big if you think of the potentiality. I think ChatGPT and OpenAI, they are platforms, and we are going to start see people using and consuming it more and more. Then we're going to see the real potential in a way.
Yeah. And you can monetize it in the respect that you could pay a subscription, but you could also just take a commission. If you type in, hey, I want to buy my husband a new gift, and you enter the criteria, and it will give you the link to the Amazon, and you click that, and then boom, you get a commission on each one sold. Or tell me local coffee shops near me, and then you get if it's all happening through the platform.
I don't know if you've seen. I think there was an interview with the founder of OpenAI. I think it was a year ago or so, and they were asking him, "How are you going to monetize this?" And he said, "Well, we will ask the AI bot, to tell us how to monetize it." Yeah,
sure.
And everyone laughed in the audience, and it's funny, yes, but
it's probably right though.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary.
Yeah. I know, yeah, that's so interesting. I believe the operator's a non-profit. They only have, I think it's 2% of the company. I don't, because it was set up by Elon. It was set up by, it's weird to think Elon set that up as a side project. When he's running Tesla and putting rockets into space on the side, he's like, hey, let's create some AI, which
why not?
My side project is playing Xbox. I mean, this is starting an AI company, which is pretty cool. But I think it was started by, I think LinkedIn's founder might have been involved. I think some of the early PayPal mafia were in there, and that's what they call themselves, the original team. But yeah, man, it's gone crazy, and I think 2022 was the year when the caterpillar went into the cocoon. Really, I think 2023, 2024 is when the butterfly comes out, and everybody is sat there in awe of what it becomes, really. But yeah. All right, well moving on from I guess the software component of AI to more, I suppose, the hardware component of robots. I've got another clip. This is Amazon Astro. This is Amazon's newest project in the robotic space. They're trying to build a robot which can sit in your house, can help you with different tasks. This has been out in, I believe it was last year on like early release, like certain reviewers could have a look at it. And now it's starting to become accessible to the public. They're going to start to release it and get it out there. And a lot of people are saying that this year is the year that this could either completely explode in a good way, or implode in like a Google Glass fashion.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. But this is Amazon Astro. There it is, a little cute thing. Look at those little eyes. How could you say no to that? There it is, rocking around. It's got the wheels. Has a big iPad on the front. It's got a camera, so you can check if your oven's off. If you're at home, you can keep an eye on pets, on burglaries. There's a kid talking to it, so it's good for. It must be able to track your face and follow you around. If your kids want to do video calls and that sort of thing. It charges itself, which is pretty cool. I would definitely forget to charge that and hence never use it. So the fact that it charges itself is pretty cool. And at the back of it, of course, there's a little port to like bring you a beer or whatever. So I suppose you could put in like a drink, say, hey, take that to Mike, and it would go across and it would like deliver it to somebody, which is pretty cool. Probably quite convenient in like an office location if you've got like 100 people. But if you're like at home, don't be lazy. Just go up and walk into the next room maybe. But anyway, that's Amazon Astro. What are your thoughts on this, Sacha? Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, it looks more like a gimmick to me than a real useful product. I mean, they use the example of, okay, I'll send the robot with the camera. It will lift the camera and show me if I left the oven on.
Yeah.
I think a much more realistic, cheap, and useful solution would be just create an oven that is connected you can with an app, and just check, and you can activate it, deactivate it, lower, increase the temperature, whatever, with the app if you wanted to.
Sure.
And then this thing about bringing the beer, etc. Yeah, it's a cool gimmick, but
it's basic. You're saying it's not a fully fledged. When I say robot, you think it's going to start doing your dishes and and cleaning up for you. But it's you're saying it's basic. It's gimmicky, but it could be a stepping stone to something else, perhaps.
Perhaps. Yeah.
I can find like some use cases when it comes to accessibility, like people with some disabilities as well. That it could be really useful in that sense, but I don't see it's a killer product or killer feature. Also, I think from an ethical point of view, a lot of people start questioning the presence, the digital presence in our home, like the smart homes and the smart devices, and how much they really, in a way, listen to our and recognize our behavior. So there might be some pushback as well.
Have you got a Ring device at home or an Alexa?
I do have an Alexa, but I, as a proper nerd in myself, I try to make my house a bit more smart, electric plugs and make it dynamic as much as I could. But in reality, after the first month of excitement, I realized this is not really what I need. I need something else. Yeah. Like not this thing. This is a gimmick.
Yeah. Alexa's not doing well from a cash perspective. I've got some friends that are pretty high up at Amazon, and I mean, this is all public, but they've been losing millions and millions. I think people they developed it in the respect that, like, people are going to order their Ubers through this, people are going to order their food through this, but in reality, people use it to play music.
Set a timer.
That's what I use it for. When I'm doing workouts, set a timer for 5 minutes, and for the oven, I've never bought anything through it. I think I upgraded to the music because it just kept annoying me. Like, hey, would you like to upgrade if you want to play this song? And I was like, fine.
And honestly, with ChatGPT coming in the way, I think if you think about it, like Siri, Alexa in a good home, they will have to rethink their model a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's similar to this Amazon product. Was it Astro, you said?
Amazon Astro.
Yeah, I think there are many products that, fit user needs or come to fix a problem or solve an issue. Yeah. And there are many products that are just like throwing in there, and sometimes people adopt it, sometimes they don't. Yeah. I think an example is the iPad, for instance, or the tablet, right? Like, you have a laptop, you have a phone. Do you need something in between? You don't need it, but it's sometimes useful, okay? And it has been evolving, of course, since its inception. Yeah. And I find Alexa, Google Dot, is it called?
Google, is it Home?
Home.
Yeah, but I think the little...
Oh, the Dot, the device.
That's the Echo Dot, I think they call it now. There's so many
different
ones,
exactly.
Yeah.
See?
The Echo Dot, yeah.
Exactly. Well, the Google one, I had one for a few weeks, and I was like, I got it for free, and this is now useless. Yeah. So I find this very gimmicky. Perhaps I really liked your take on this. Perhaps it will help with accessibility. Yeah. I'm not sure if this one.
Sure.
But
the idea behind, someone that can help you.
Absolutely. I think that could be amazing.
Yeah, because right now it's an Alexa on wheels from my perspective.
Yes.
Which has got the video feed, which is cool. I think the new Alexas have got a video as well, and I think they've got the whole Meta portal thing where you can walk around and it will follow you in the room. I think Meta's actually just canned the portal. It really wasn't selling, which was like an iPad which just used for video calls. If you're walking around your kitchen, you can follow you, which is pretty cool.
We had one of those. I don't know if it was that same model or brand, but we had one of those in the office like 5 years ago. Yeah. So it's not that new anymore.
No.
And it was just not sitting, standing there.
Yeah.
Gathering dust. I think normally one is.
Well, most of the time when you do a video call, you sit and be present with the person. It's rare that you're walking off doing other things, right? Or otherwise you're not really there. Yeah,
it's really hard to have like an immersive experience when you do a video call, and I think sometimes all this face the reality of our infrastructure. Like, we live in London, central London, fiber connection, but the reality out there is way different.
Yes,
and I would personally be more interested to see actually problem like in how do we solve the sustainability, how we can roll out technology to everybody, like not just in the rich world countries, rich world places.
What about using Astro from a security device? If you've got this rolling around your house and somebody breaks in and it rolls up and it captures them and it's recording, and I mean, sure, they could kick it out the way. I mean, it would be a pretty easy fight. I think the humans would win in that situation. But do you think it could be used as like a ring, as like a security device, and from that perspective, or what do you think, Sacha?
I'm not a security expert. Let's say that first. But this doesn't seem to be a very, impressive and strict, and
you can wear a face mask, right? And then
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like super fast either. I think there are better solutions out there for security.
Yeah, sure. To be fair, I would say the opposite. It could be actually a backdoor, a real backdoor at your home, because it can spy you. You can what you do in your behavior, and it can be hacked in a way.
That is the dangerous thing about these, right? Like we just saw the other day. Was it LastPass that was hacked? Yeah. I know. I was like frantically moving everything across to a more secure one, but they've got millions and millions of passwords saved on this thing, and now I think something's gone wrong. If you keep your master password, that's what they need to get in. But it's brute force hacking. Eventually, you'll be able to crack a lot of these, and I'm sure they'll be able to prioritize the accounts based on who's got the most money and who and that sort of thing. So if you're on LastPass, change all your passwords and move it to something else right now. And LastPass is one of the biggest ones in the world. But if someone hacked into your password, could they just watch you? Could you just be like going around and they're just filming everything? I mean, that's the fear with Alexas, right? Like, is Jeff Bezos just sitting in a big AWS server room listening to everybody's conversations? Probably not, but could he if he wanted to?
Well, do you even need to be hacked? That's the question, right? Like,
you're giving the data.
Yeah, I mean, no one reads the terms and conditions when you buy or sign up to any platform, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, But you never know. Like perhaps Alexa is. I'm not saying they're recording everything we say, and there's someone in the background. Oh, they said this. Let's offer them. I don't know. A new toilet seat on Facebook.
Sure.
It's not how it works, right? But
AI might be.
AI maybe, or at least they can use data to have aggregations, basically aggregate all the data and have trends, or be like, oh, listen, people are talking about this topic, or people are interested in this product.
Yeah. What's your take on using this like for people that have pets? Because like if you've got like a small dog or something, or a cat, and you got a pet.
Not here in London, no.
No.
It's not viable, really.
I have a dog.
Got a dog?
Here in London.
What breed have you got?
I have a Samoyed.
What, sorry?
Samoyed. You know them?
No, I got a Yorkie / Jack Russell.
Okay, yeah.
Is it a big dog or a small dog?
It's a 20-kilo dog.
Okay,
So people here in London think it's a big dog.
Yeah,
Back in Argentina, they would say it's a small
It's a small medium dog, right?
Exactly. Like in Italy, I think. No, he's this white, fluffy
Okay,
dog.
That's cool.
Very nice dog.
that's cool. So if you had one of these, and I rarely leave my dog on its own. We work from home most of the time anyway. But if you were in that situation, could that give people some comfort, perhaps? If you could follow the dog around, see it, make sure it's all G. Do you think there's any benefit there, or am I inventing use cases? Do you think?
I think it could be useful, perhaps, but at the same time, perhaps it causes the exact opposite effect on the dog, and it will get the dog crazy, start barking, get him upset.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, think about many dogs get upset with when you're vacuuming, or when you have the robot cleaner or whatever.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think?
It looks like a solution looking for a problem to me.
Yeah.
And there are maybe other viable, cheaper alternatives like GPS, like tracking location, if you really care about where it's going, that maybe are more useful.
Mm. Yeah. I think this Astro is missing hands. Like give it some thumbs and some grip, and then it can actually do robotic things. When you think of a robot, you want it to be doing things physically for you, not just a little camera on a stick, kind of like checking the oven, which is not really going to be an actual thing, right?
Like you said, like I'd rather have a smart oven in that sense.
Yeah.
And not something that goes there and check.
I think I'd buy this, and then like after a month, it just wouldn't be used. It would be, it'd be like. Yeah, I don't think my dog would like it. My dog would start barking, think it's like a intruder.
I think it's going back to what I was saying earlier. That what problem does it solve? I mean, you buy it, it does some cool things, but is it solving any problem for you? Is it facilitating things? Is it making easier for you to do certain things? I don't think so. So that's why I don't see the benefit.
Yeah, probably not yet. But,
not yet for sure.
But maybe Gen 4, Gen 5, then it's got arms, then we're cool.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
But what about price-wise, if you had to guess, how much do you think this is? It's in dollars.
They'll probably be charging $2,000 for this.
What do you think?
700.
It's you're kind of both in between. It's 1,500.
Oh,
okay,
perfect. Do you think it's worth 1,500? Like for the average, like everyday person, if you're not rich, 1,500 would an Alexa on wheels be worth that?
I mean, honestly, if you can afford 1,500 and pay on something like that, you'll reconsider some choices on your life and potentially think, maybe have more company, someone that come and help you a certain time. I don't know.
I wouldn't spend that. No. I again, since at this stage, based on what it seems it can do, I think it will be more of a nuisance rather than solving problems. So I don't think I would want one even for much less than that.
Okay, cool. So if you thought the Astro was crazy, this one is perhaps either like genius or like completely like insane. Like they say there's like fine line between the two. I don't know if this one blurs it or if it's just kind of like one or the other. This is called the Hush Me. This is basically like a face mask built out of tech, which stops other people from hearing what you're saying. So if you're on the tube, or if you're, I suppose, in a really noisy office or a cafe, and you want to have a private conversation, those like phone booths, like in my WeWork, you've got to go into like a little phone booth. This kind of replaces a phone booth by putting this thing on your face, which if you speak, the person on the other end of the phone will hear you, and then if you wear headphones, you'll be able to hear them. So you could sit here, I'd have a full conversation, you guys would be none the wiser. It just looks like my mouth is moving a little bit, but in reality, I've got this thing on my face. So here's what it looks like. For those on audio, turn on the video. Comes in different colours. It's released, I think it was a year or two ago, but this is another technology people are saying is going to be, a lot more present in the post-COVID world. arguably. But yeah, interesting. That's a hush me. And there are, of course, a lot of competitors doing a similar thing. I think there's just been a new one released which kind of combines the concept of a face mask with this, which is interesting. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the hush me, Mattia? What's your perspective?
This one looks interesting because, I mean, he solves a problem. He has a use case.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like something dystopian, in my opinion. It's literally what we're trying to solve is the phone booth.
Yeah.
It's portable and actually more usable. So I think he's going to find his own space.
Okay. What's your point of view?
I fully agree. I see a use case for this, especially with now, people working remotely, working from different places. Perhaps now you can work from anywhere and still have confidential, private conversations.
And even in the offices now, I mean,
Yeah.
office spaces are now a bit more cramped because, with the hybrid working model, you really don't, we don't find easily like spaces where to have like a private chat in a way. So
Yeah.
there is a use case for that.
And I also like that it inverts the problem. So now if you're in an office and someone is speaking on the phone very loudly, everyone else needs to do something about it. Like you need to wear headphones, noise cancelling, you need to leave the room, etc. Whereas with this, if that person is using that, no one else gets affected. So it's a much easier solution, I think.
It's interesting because from a pure design perspective, it looks a bit ridiculous, right? Like having like this huge thing strapped to your mouth. It kind of reminds me of the Batman movie. Is it Bane, the guy who has the huge thing on his face? But I said exactly the same thing about AirPods.
Exactly.
Like, I thought AirPods looked ridiculous. It was like what did people say they were like? It was like in the bathroom. Was it like toothpicks? It was
The cotton.
Cotton,
yeah. It was like that. But this is it's a sort of thing. If you just wore it yourself and you're the only one in the room, you'd get like weird glances. But if it's like AirPods and everybody kind of knows what they are and is using them, then like you could it makes sense. It depends if you care about what people think.
But I think design and fashion will easily solve this problem because it has a use case. And I mean, we already have devices. We already have wearables anyway, and that's going to be just one more.
Yeah. Would you guys wear something like this? Do you think? Would you feel comfortable like on the tube like with that on your? I mean, it's just a face mask at the end of the day, kind of. I mean, after COVID, it's kind of made it a little bit more accessible, if you know what I mean. But would you be happily walk around with this on, or in an office? It wouldn't bother you?
No, I think I would give it a go. And again, it's a trend, right? Once things become viral or popular, like they become normal, right? As you said, the AirPods. I mean, we're wearing this headset. 30 years ago or 50 years ago, they were like, what are they doing? What's that? And it's just like that. I mean,
it didn't took much like to become like a mass adoption anyway. And in London, definitely, I will try it. I mean, this is the place where you can literally walk and be yourself and do whatever you want without problems. So,
But that's a good point. I mean, these things are not, or should be tried in not should be, but are easily tried in certain environments, right? I would try it here, but I don't know if I would go to another city, and I would be like, hey.
That's the great thing about London or New York. Everybody's like, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are extremely crazy. So if you just put this on your face, it's fine. Like, because
eccentric.
Eccentric is probably the right word to use.
I think actually people would get closer to you and ask you, hey, what is that? I'm curious and genuinely interested in that.
But then you got to take it off to tell them because they can't hear you.
Or you can call them. So you can.
I've got like younger cousins and stuff, and when hiring people, if I hire people out of like straight out of school or uni and stuff, even though I'm not that much older than them, it's very crazy to see just how different people are, especially people that went to school during COVID and university, because they're a lot more, I don't know if introverted is the right word to use, but their interactions have been a lot more on Zoom and online as opposed to throwing sticks at each other when they were kids, which was like the funnest thing to do. But I feel like a lot of people don't have that communication skills as much as some other people do that perhaps a little bit older, and because of that they would feel more comfortable wearing this, because having a conversation, like if you're like a salesperson and you got to be walking up and down an office having a conversation on the phone, it's kind of cringy if other people are listening to you. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's like you don't want to fail because you don't want to be embarrassed to the people around you. But if you were wearing one of these, it doesn't matter if it goes well or not, or if you're having doing a call with a recruiter in an office, you don't have to run out of the building anymore to have that conversation. You can just put this on. So I see uses, right?
Although we are putting a lot lot of trust in tech in the case, because if there's malfunctioning, you'll be really scared if you have a private conversation. But yeah, it's true. Completely true.
Do you think because of COVID and face masks, this sort of thing is a lot more likely to succeed because of those events, like the normalization of wearing like something on your face? Because if you combine purification technology into this, a lot of people just wear it as a face mask, and then like that becomes a use case. Then like the anti-sound is like secondary, but it still can do that. Do you think that would, like, adding that in would like be a big plus for people? What do you think, Sacha?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, if I'm just thinking about the video we just saw, and if you think about it, it looks more like a medical device at the moment, right? Like you have something for your mouth or something that you need for your, I don't know, your
For
jaw.
teeth, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. So it is possible, yeah. But I'm unsure about this, to be honest.
Yeah. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been more normalization of actually not showing our mouth, our expressions. Let's say in the Western world, whereas in the East was more common. Although, I mean, like you said, like first we need to break the perception of, is this like a medical device? Is like a device fit for a specific purpose, or a mass adoption device, something cool?
Yeah.
Like when we're gonna have the cool effect, then I think mass adoption will come.
With mass adoption, you often need like an Apple to get behind it. Like if they had like a really like clean version with like the Apple logo on it and stuff, and then it becomes something that's used by millions of people. And the thing about tech is it just all gets copied anyway by a lot of the big companies. Like I know Apple are releasing their VR AR mixed reality headset. I think it's this year is like what all the rumors are going to be saying, and that might change the whole perception of Meta from a business which has struggled to get VR off the ground. The graphics are terrible, and if Apple can then pull it off, then suddenly the metaverse becomes, like you say, mass adoption, accessible. So sometimes it takes a big company to kind of prove that the startups are doing something right, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and Apple is great at that, because I mean they are great at learning mistakes from other companies and then come in second or third and then try to improve that.
Let's guess the price of Hush Me. What do you think?
It's probably an expensive one.
It's not crazy.
1,700.
Okay.
Oh, that's very
What do you think?
apt. Stand by 1,500.
Okay, you're both going to be blown away. It's cheap. It's $230.
I'm gonna buy that.
I'm pretty sure you can. I think it's. I think they did a bunch of campaigns, and I believe it is out there for purchase at the moment. At $230,
It's
probably worth it. Like
Okay.
in some respects.
I mean, of course, this is just the concept, right? We need to test it. Is it that effective?
Yeah.
Is the battery good? Is it comfortable to wear?
Yeah.
Is the sound on the other side good? As in, like, is it a good microphone?
Is it muffled or? Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
an element of trust, I guess. We're like,
Yeah.
you really need to try out a
Exactly.
few times and see how
Are
it
they
goes.
listening to your conversations? Is
Yeah.
everything being recorded?
No, but I think the price is reasonable. I was expecting.
You could buy like 5 of these for an Astro. I mean, would you rather have 5 Hush Me's or 1 Astro? Give them as gifts, I suppose.
I have these ones, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
give the rest of my team. They can have
It's
that.
not weird anymore. Then if an outsider walks in, you're all wearing them though.
Yeah.
What have I walked into? Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, look, thanks for coming by. It was good to get your perspectives into what's happening in the world of tech. We've looked at some crazy and some weird products today, and some news. I think to wrap up, I think from a McDonald's perspective, I think the summary that we've arrived at is like that's gonna happen. Like innovation, you can't stop innovation. Like we're gonna get more and more and more automation within service, within retail, within restaurants. So those workers adapt or die is like the horrible way of saying it, but probably like the right way in some degree. Try to transition your skills into something that will work in the post GPT economy, which will probably be like a term which is used by people in the future. We also looked at the Astro. I think our conclusion there was cool gimmicky tech, but probably not something that's going to be in every single room anytime soon. I think it needs arms. It needs a little bit more features. And then Hush Me. I think we all like that one. I was a little bit like design wise, like going into that clip, but I think you guys have sold it to me a little bit. yeah, I don't mind having conversations in public. That's fine, but look at it from the other person's perspective. If you're like, sometimes I walk around the WeWork and I can tell people are not happy with me, just like shouting out on the phone all the time. So yeah, maybe this would give me some weird glances, but it would probably help everybody else with their sanity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. And
Thank you, Alfie. It's been a pleasure.
no
Yeah,
problem.
it was
And
really fun.
for people watching, listening, etc., you know what to do. Follow, like, subscribe, etc. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for watching this podcast. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, comment, etc. And I'll see you in the next episode.
The Alfie Whattam Podcast.
Imagine if you were able to hire the next Elon Musk. Or if you got a job at Facebook, back when it was just a startup. Well, these people and these opportunities, they are still out there, and we have access to them. Access to all of them. At Alpha Technology, we specialise in software development recruitment across London and the UK. From React to Java to C# and more. We represent the best front-end, back-end, and full-stack engineers on the market. This includes top developers from Meta, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and more. Our clients operate across AI, blockchain, VR, AR, fintech, edtech, health tech, and more. From startups to global enterprises and everything in between. But Alpha isn't just a recruitment agency. We are also a tech community. We host podcasts, run meetup events, and lead ED&I initiatives, supporting women in technology, BAME individuals, and the Tech for Good ecosystem. So, if you're a company looking to hire software engineers, or if you're a developer open to new opportunities yourself, then we are here to help. Alpha Technology. Recruiting for the future.